Well, our little farm is finally growing. We started out doing hay, and then we started adding a few animals here and there. Got some chickens, and we got some ducks and some rabbits and stuff, some stuff that kids wanted. But ever since the beginning of 2020, when the pandemic hit, we had kind of started thinking we need to be a little more self-sufficient as a family. And I'm sure it affected a lot of people the same way. We've all depended on stores and supply chains and everything for so long that, you know, it's easier just to run to the store and get what you need. You know, it's not cheaper anymore to grow your own stuff, because of a lot of the foods and stuff today, and the seeds that you buy and the plants that you buy. A lot of stuff's all hybrids, and it's harder to save seed till the next year, and just lots of stuff. You know, it's expensive to grow animals. Grain prices are through the roof, so unless you have a lot of acreage with a lot of grass, it's not sustainable without having to feed animals. So it's always been, I mean, I grew up on a farm. My whole life we had animals of just about every kind of animal you can think of. We had gardens, we grew, and we lived over near the Gulf, and it's super fertile ground, easy to grow. You don't have to fertilize anything. If it gets dry to where you haven't had rain in a long time, you have to go out and water a little bit, but that's about it. It had me spoiled for gardening. So when I moved to sandier soil, it became more of a challenge to learn how to grow and garden and everything. And my grandpa was one of the best gardeners I know. He lived in a very sandy area and grew some of the most beautiful vegetables that I've ever seen. And he taught me a lot about gardening when I was a little boy and got me hooked on gardening. So we've always kind of grown a small garden, but we're learning our area, our new farm here. We've lived here for a little over 2 years, about 2.5 years since we finished our home. So we've been trying to, you know, get established living here, get our shed built, our barn built, you know, stuff as we could, as well as trying to garden, see what grows well here and that sort of thing. So when the pandemic hit, it kind of just was a reassurance that we need to start doing a little better about getting more self-sufficient. So that's what we've been doing, and we want to do it without going into debt. That's the key. We don't want to have a bunch of overhead just having a farm. So we started our YouTube channel to kind of document that process, and yeah, so we've been doing that for about 1.5 years now, and we've been working on our hayfield, getting it better throughout the year. We've gotten most of the weeds gone, which is super exciting. And just by keeping it mowed, we haven't had to spray any chemicals on it this year or anything, and that's exciting. So we've had chickens, and then we ended up getting rid of some of those, and we just got some more chicks in, and they're going to be better, hopefully better temperament than our last chickens. The last rooster that we had he was a monster. He loved chasing everybody down. He was very aggressive. Kids didn't like him too good. So we got the chickens, and then kids wanted to get some goats. I'm not crazy about goats myself. Never really cared for goats, but we got a Nubian goat, female and male, which we're not going to keep the male because they're brother and sister. But we may eventually breed the goat, because a lot of our kids are allergic to cow's milk when they're young, so they can't tolerate it. So we end up buying goat's milk for them anyway to drink. So we got a goat just in case we want to breed it and get milk. And then our latest acquisition is a couple of Angus heifers. So we are so excited about that. We want to get more beef cattle growing, and this was a good start. So you can see them right here behind me. They're, I don't know, I think they're around 4 to 4.5 months old, established on grain. We found them earlier in the week, and we literally had, like, when we talked to the guy, he said they were available and he was wanting to get rid of them. He was going to bring them the next day to us, and he'd only lived about 15 minutes away. So we had to throw this pen up. It's about a 7,000 square foot little pen that we had to throw up in just about 4 hours that night after dinner, so that we had a place to put them the next day when he brought them. So that was a little bit crazy, and but we got it. It's temporary until we can get our back pasture, these couple acres, fenced here. My plan is to put them out on the hayfield for the spring, just to let them graze out there, because the grass don't really get growing good here for hay until about May, somewhere around May or June is when it's really rolling for hay. So instead of mowing it and keeping it down with weeds, keeping the weeds down, I'll just put the cows out there and let them graze. I'll get this back pasture planted in February, and that'll give that a couple of months to get established and growing, and then we'll pull the cows off during hay season, put them back here on the back pasture, and that'll allow the hayfield to grow, and we can cut hay, and we'll be able to supply our own hay for our animals. So it's pretty exciting. It's a long process, but it's the best way to do it for us. So I'll turn the camera around now. I'm done rambling, and I'll show you the animals. So these here are our little girls. They're still a little bit skittish, but they're beautiful, beautiful calves. They seem to be adjusting very well to their new property. Unfortunately, this area does not have very much grass in here, so we've been giving them hay along with grain. But as soon as I can get the barn finished enough to where we can get our stuff in there, I'm going to focus on the fencing for them. Hey, big girl. What's up, guys? What you guys up to, huh? These little guys are all growing and doing well. We got 2 white leghorns, and the rest are barred rocks. So these are gonna be, they're supposed to be all hens, but we'll see. These are going to be our egg layers, hopefully here in a few months. Our lettuce is looking awesome. This needs to be picked. Starting to bud out. We already picked some last night. It's all looking really good. Our broccoli's starting to bud out. This one down here is the biggest. It's looking really good. Cabbages are also coming along good. They're looking real healthy. Well, they are small steps, but we're headed at least in the right direction. So we're planning on getting more cows at some point. As we can afford it, we're gonna get a few calves here and there, and then we'll breed them. Not sure if we're gonna get a bull right now. I think we I don't want to pay money to feed a bull year round, and we only have a couple calves to breed. So I think we're going to start off with just heifers, and then we'll get them bred either by a vet, or we'll hire out a bull for when we need it, and do it that way to start out with. And then as we build up our herd, and once we get, if we get a dozen or 2 dozen cows, we'll maybe get a bull at that point. So that's the plan anyway. Chickens, we just have egg chickens for right now. At some point we will, I mean, I don't know how the barred rocks, how well they eat, but at some point we'll probably get some meat birds as well. But just slow baby steps. You don't get a fully functional homestead overnight. So we're gonna take baby steps and do it as we can afford it, and then that'll be the best way all the way around. So kids are really enjoying it because they love animals anyways, and they've enjoyed, even though it's work, they've enjoyed the responsibilities of feeding the babies and taking care of them. So we appreciate you guys joining us on our journey, and hopefully it'll inspire some of y'all to take the leap of faith and jump out and start your own farms and homesteads. It's a lot of fun. It's very rewarding, and it feels a lot better eating your own food that you've grown on your own property than it does something that they grew in a lab somewhere. Or in our case, we have actually a lot of beef farms around us and dairy farms, so a lot of our meat locally is grown here locally, but it's not the case with everybody. So hope you guys enjoyed my rambling today. We appreciate you guys watching and supporting our channel, and we'll see you next time.